Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Intros are weird for me, but we're just gonna move on. um, so in this episode, we're going to be talking about honesty. I'm going to go over about the price being high, how feelings are turning over, feelings over honesty. Already messing up. Uh, Honesty and intentions and how they kind of go hand in hand. Keep going. Honesty and the connection to like the next level or leveling up. We'll go over that sort of idea and its perceived relevance with sort of hate and disdain and dislike. And of course, the most important place, to be honest. Right, let's just jump right in. So I got this idea from the Jordan Peterson book, the 12 Rules. In the book, he talks about honesty, and he sort of in one of his rules he kind of not so much brushes over. I mean, it is a big part of the rule, like not lying and being honest. And I just kind of want to talk a little more in depth, and I'll leave a link in the description for for you guys to go and check out the book if you are interested. I definitely 100% recommend. But that's enough kissing his ass. Yeah, let's just jump right in now. What does it truly cost to be an honest person? You know, a lot of people will tell you being honest is a good thing and that we should do it or that you should do it more. I mean, Jordan Peterson even talks about it within his book. Um, so why don't we do it? If we all know that it's the right thing to do or that we should be more honest with people in general, why don't we? And I believe anyway, it's because the price is a little bit complicated and a little bit difficult. You know, like being honest can result in some people hating you. That they are, most people will judge you. You'll probably lose a few friends. I know I did, and I probably still will. And as bullshit as that is, honesty has that attached to it, and that is one of the big reasons that a lot of people aren't willing to pay the price. A lot of people out there just kind of want to get on with their day and whatever, or just be kind all the time. I think there's also an aspect that sort of connects with men. I mean, I'm not a woman, so I wouldn't know like a woman's perspective, and maybe you guys will inform me in the comments about that. But when it comes to men, I also think that there's this. Oh, I'm going to say it, alright? Don't cringe. This like society pressure. I cringed. um, for men to like not be honest, there's just these questions like, do I look fat in the dress, right? Do I look fat in this dress? And of course, you're meant to say, oh no, of course you don't. When a lockdown and Christmas is coming, I mean, enough said there. Um, does this look good on me? And you just got to say yes. And I know some of it is just not caring. I mean, I don't particularly care what a woman wears, in my opinion. And anyway, I think my opinion is disposable when it comes to that kind of aspect. I also think there's like a term that gets thrown around kind of loosely, and it's really kind of like it's a more deep quote than I think even the people saying it realize. Like happy wife, happy life, and everything. So I do think there's that sort of aspect to men and them being not so much forced, because no one ever forces you to do anything, right? But there's a pressure there to not being honest. And I think that's very counterintuitive. But my point is, people are willing to lie to avoid an argument or a confrontation to save even their like significant other from hardship or from the truth. Honesty has this implemented collision and conflict sort of woven into it. To be honest, you have to risk being confrontational. Like, yeah, okay, you don't have to always risk it, especially if the person agrees with you, but it's even more important when someone does disagree with you. Not only that, but you have to defend your honesty. There's this. It's not even you got to defend it physically or within an argument, because honesty is just what you perceive as the truth. It's more just being able to stand by it. And like nowadays, every fight, every collision, every time you're honest, it gets recorded in every tweet, every Facebook post. Somebody might have taken a video of you while you were talking about it. I mean, even me with this, right? Uploading my opinion and my discussions on these subjects online. Like next week I might feel completely different about honesty, and there's nothing I can do. It's still going to remain on the internet. It's still going to remain up there. You can get messed up from a post you wrote like 15 to 20 years ago when you were a teenager. I mean, just look on cases like Kevin Hart. I'm sure you guys can think of a lot more just off the top of your heads. I remember over here in the UK there was a guy high up in the defense sector over here who got fired because of homophobic tweets. I know there's also a rugby player. I think there's a rugby player over in Australia. I mean, I didn't properly look it up or anything, but I think it was something about gay people or something like that. You guys can probably inform me down in the comments. Nowadays there's extra weight in being honest. Everyone is meant to act in a certain way, and if you don't, then bang, there's a tweet that you posted at 2 a.m. on a bender when you were immature, or when you were a teenager or whatever, or a young adult. Or bang, there's that joke that you made about being gay or gay people or whatever. Or there's that video of you talking to the people at the protests, and now boom, you're extreme right or you're extreme left, or you believe Trump isn't as bad as he's portrayed in the media, and now you're a Nazi, and I'm gonna get some hate for that one. But if you don't share the opinion of the majority, or the opinion of a couple people who tweet the most about it, then you're an outcast. Not only that, but now you have cancel culture, which can come after your job, your whole career. So why should you base your career on not even a strong opinion that you have? Like, what is the point in being honest with people about your opinion when your whole career that you worked for, or even your life, even your social life, right, that you've worked hard to get, um, can just be gone, be taken away because some people want to tweet about it on Twitter, or post something on Facebook, or cancel you from a show, or get your boss to fire you because a business is under pressure or whatever. There's a huge price on honesty, and honesty is hard. You never know how people are going to take it. You can be the most liked person in the room, and then 2 minutes later, after half a sentence, and people not fully understanding your position and just taking it on face value, you're the most hated person, not just in the room, but in the world. You don't know what the world is going to think of what's in your head. Which leads me perfectly on to the next segment. There's this big thing at the minute where it's feelings over honesty. I don't want to say it, man. This is too cringy. I never like when people talk about society and all that. Even the word just kind of cringes me out a little, because so many people can have so many thoughts about it, and I guess I'm just adding to it. I don't know, man. It's just that word for me is just a little bit weird, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I can't think of another word. I think this is where society kind of gets it really wrong, and I think especially in America this sort of happens. You can't really have your own opinions, or you can't be honest if you do have your own opinions. I know if you know anything about like politics or anything, or any of that kind of boring area, you'll hear a lot about the silent majority. And it has a lot to do with people unwilling to just be straight up honest. I mean, it's not their fault. Like, I've been talking for like 10 minutes now about how the price is high. You just have to be this super progressive uh, person who follows the crowd, or you're cancelled, or you're being offensive and hurting someone's feelings. And I think this is extremely dangerous. You know, if people can't be honest without their career or life falling apart when they do it, then why do it? You know, if even if you're expressing yourself in some type of a way, and even then, if you have a fear of your career and life going down the drain, then why? Anytime I think of honesty, or I think of this subject, or I mean, it's not something I think about every day, but my mind always goes back to this poem. It's World War II one, or speech it could be. I'm not too sure. Um, by Nat and Neoma, and it's The First They Came. I won't cringe you out or bore you with saying the poem. I think you can look it up with just that. Um, but it's the idea of somebody coming after groups of people, right? So it goes like, first they came after the socialists and I said nothing. Then they came after trade unionists and I said nothing. Then the Jews and I still said nothing. And then finally they came after me, right? And there was no one left to speak. And I think a lot of that just comes from honesty, really. I think honesty is sort of the key element of that poem or whatever it was. I think it really delves deep and sort of attacks cancel culture and this idea of mob mentality. But they're all ideas for like another video. I believe they all generate from this idea of honesty. If we're afraid to be honest, then how in the world are we meant to change our opinion? If we can't have a fully open discussion and debate, then how can I really change your mind realistically, right? I'm already in the 12th minute, so I'm going to move on, but it's just something to think about, you know? Uh, so the next part is honesty and intentions and sort of how they go in hand, and the connection between like honest people and assholes. You know, if we look at people like Gordon Ramsay, Katie Hopkins or something like that is her name. I mean, I think you can name a bunch of rappers in there too. Um, I mean, the list, I wouldn't say it's endless, but there's a huge list of people out there who are just straight up honest. And I think there is a difference between honesty and like being brutally honest. And I think it's all carried within the intentions of the act. Right, if we go back and if we take the am I fat in this dress example, an abusive person would be like, oh yes, of course, like with their intentions to like keep them under the rug or to keep them to themselves or whatever. Or to say, oh yes you are, oh, what you doing? You need to stop eating cakes, or like what, like everyone's heard it right before. Um, but then there's also the sort of intention of making their life better, which is like, oh yeah, you kind of are. Do you want to come to the gym with me tomorrow? And of course, there's always this endless examples of this, but I do think the sort of intentions kind of go hand in hand with the honesty. Like if your intention is to be a troll, but you're still being honest, you know. But if you're honest, but your intention is to start an argument, you're not going to be perceived in sort of a nice way. Your tone's going to be a little off, even though you're being honest. Even though we've been talking about how honesty is good, it also depends on your intentions with the honesty. So if we go on and take two examples of this, right? So the two I mentioned, right? You got Gordon Ramsay and Katie Hopkins. They're both perceived as being honest sort of people, right? Gordon Ramsay does it in like a brutal sort of way. My favorite moment is that like idiot sandwich. If you've ever seen that meme of like him putting like a bread on like the ears of this woman, and she's just going, "What are you? An idiot sandwich?" That's too funny. I'll probably try and roll the clip in there if I can, if I find it. That's besides the point. He's brutally honest, right? And this is debatably not the best way to be honest, but he does it with the intention of making you or the cooks or the owners of the restaurant or whatever he's doing better. He doesn't do it to be a dick. He doesn't do it to start an argument. He does it because he wants to make the place better. And I think this is also a great place to come from with your intentions and with your honesty if you do decide to pick it up and want to be more honest. Whereas Katie Hopkins seems to be honest because she wants a fight or she wants the audience to not like her, and she wants to have a discussion. She wants to have a collision course with the audience. We can debate all day about her intentions, which, coming from like my view, I don't think she does it to be a dick, but I do believe she does come across as one, and that can be very misconstrued. I can never say that word. My point is, yes, they're both being brutally honest, but they both come from the different sides of being honest when it comes to their intention. I kind of want to go into the honesty and the connect and its connection with like the next level and its perceived relevance to hate. So we just jump on that like first thing, right? If you're an addict, the first stage of realizing that you are an addict is being honest with yourself. A drink at the weekend can easily turn into a weekday drink, an everyday drink, and it can be really easy to play things down over the course of time. I mean, you also need self reflection in there somewhere, but that's less important with what I'm talking about. I mean, if we throw in another example, right, you get angry when you get a test wrong, but can you look back honestly and tell yourself that you studied enough? There's examples of these for days, but just the point is, you can keep yourself in ignorance and bliss, but honesty is one of the key elements to growth, in my opinion. But that's sort of like a double edged sword because now you bring out the perceived relevance with hate, because that in itself can seem very like judgmental, and sometimes it can lead to hate. If we take the test for an example, you can judge yourself and you can be honest with yourself and say, "Oh, I didn't do enough." That is judgment in itself, but you're judging the actions of yourself, not actually yourself. And when you put that onto other people, like if we bring back the "Am I fat in this dress?" and you saying yes, that can very much sound like a judgment of the person rather than of their actions. So it sounds like you've got this disdain and this hate for a particular person, which is why intentions always matter. But this is why honesty is also so hard, because you gotta strike the balance of honesty, of judgment, and of intention, and it's sort of like a three-wheel sort of triangle, if you like. There isn't a place where growth has happened where you can show me honesty hasn't played a part within it. I mean, if you can, link it down in the comments and I'll get back to you. But I mean, I'll finish this off because I'm going on now for like 20 minutes. But I just want to mention, I think the most important place to be honest is with yourself. I would say try and be honest with other people. I know that there's a certain sort of pressure there, or like society or whatever, like that cringy word. But just start with yourself. Yeah, I don't know what this was. Don't have an outro yet, so I guess just comment, subscribe, like, all those kind of stuff. You know the drill, right? And peace.